praise. Yeah, we have a lot to pray about. I got to tell you the story from Astro. Okay, so yesterday we had two devils, and the reason we had the devil was because I told you that you're an earth angel and they want to stop your mission. Okay, so if you didn't see yesterday's video, you want to watch it. Okay, so that was that. Now, what happened in Astro is really cool. Okay, we got a lot of smoke here. Let's put it back here. Okay, so they had a choice. Remember when I said we give it to God, we don't do anything. So God, the universe, the angels, the ancestors told these people that are messing with whoever you are, right? Each person has their own set of assigned guides. They told them, this is it. You have to stop messing with the earth angel, or consequences will be paid. Usually what that means is they go to another universe, they go to another dimension, they can go to a spiritual prison. It's pretty serious stuff. So anyway, here's the vision that they left me with. I walk into a room, there's two tan, big, I call them mice, but they're actually rats. Okay, they're big, they're tan. They were tan. Okay, two tan, kind of like the color of my shirt here. A tan orange, right? I call them mice, but they were rats. Okay. Then there was Holy the bird. Holy signifies purity, the earth angel. 24 years old, sat on Jesus's shoulder, right? Okay, we'll take a picture of Holy here. There's Holy. Okay. Now, I walk in the room and there's Holy with his cage open, because I do let his cage be open when he's in his own room. He was in his own room. And he had something on him, like a little bit of blood on his tail or something. It was just minor. Okay, so I went and grabbed him, right? And the two big rats had tails both sticking out of their mouths. And I went up and pulled on both of the tails coming out of their mouths, and it was their own kind, right? I didn't pull it out, but I knew that it was two rats in their mouths. Both rats had a rat in their mouth. Astro said, I want you to remember this vision and I want you to tell everybody about it. Because what they did was they ratted on their own. They sang like a canary. They ate their own. And they decided to leave the earth angels alone and not get the consequences, and decided to surrender. So we let them eat their own, and we let them go on their merry way, and we put Holy, back outside in this cage like you just saw. So you see the moral of the story? Those two in specific, because there's more than one, of course. There were two devils yesterday saying there's a whole bunch of them. But what happened now is that the two main ones let it all out, confessed it all. So now we're just doing the cleanup. The Six of Swords work, overall energy of this deck. So the other deck we're going to use is Death on the bottom. We had Death. This is a big death because it's kind of like if you watch, I was watching yesterday Law and Order Special Victims Unit, and it's usually about sexual predators. And it was on a school teacher that would do things to his students. And years later, the three girls got him to come to a hotel room and they castrated him, and they were going to get in trouble for that. But once everything came out, once everybody told all the stories, the guy ended up getting persecuted, even though it was a 20-year-old court case. They got him for a fresh one. Long story short, everybody spewed out what happened. And the other Law and Order I saw was a girl got raped at a party. And in the beginning, everybody said she's the liar. And all the other girls that got raped wouldn't come forth because they didn't want to be called a liar and lose all their friends. And you know how it is when you spew the truth, right? Well, that's why people don't spew the truth. So, anyways, what happened was at the end, of course, it's always at the end of the movie, right? Everybody spewed out the truth. And, every movie is the same, right? And they all lived happily ever after. The bad guys go to prison, the good guys get the reward. Well, it's the same with this energy. And that's why I'm bringing it up, because I don't want you guys to give up and think that you're not going to win. Whatever your circumstances, your outside circumstance, Astro is telling you that we're working really, really hard in the spirit realm, and we're getting all this cleaned up. Like Batman and Robin, like Law and Order, like all the movies you watch in Marvel, right? The good guy always wins in the end, but he has to go through what he has to go through. So even Holy had to have a little bit of blood on his tail. But in the end, the Earth Angel, Holy, the pure one, was protected. I walked in, and there they are. The two big brown rats are eating their own kind. Okay, so with the death card on the bottom, let's start a fresh reading and see what the Spirit wants to tell us. I know that was kind of long, but it's really important that you know that what you're seeing in this 3D realm, in this Matrix movie here that we're living, is so nothing. That's what's really going on. You're sitting here thinking, well, nothing happened. None of my enemies are in jail. None of my enemies are caught. But you don't understand that, yes, they are. In Astro, they're all taken care of. Everything's going as planned. You just don't see it here, okay? So this energy is very secretive. It's very magicianish. It's very high priestess, hierophant, death cards are coming out, okay? So 9 of Cups, don't lose focus on your wishes and your desires. Death card came right back, okay? So we're putting an end. Everything I just said is true. I'm drawn to them two holding hands, not so much him looking back here at all the destruction. I'm drawn to the rose and to him holding her hand. That's what we have for our future. That's our wishes and our desires. Our wishes and our desires, whether you want to admit it or not, are to be happy, have evil gone, and be with your loved one, or loved ones with an S. You know that that's what you want. This materialism isn't important. Our affirmation today is reverse lower vibrations of fear and anger and turn them into light. So that's what we're saying. Don't let the fear and anger take you to a lower level, because your wishes and your desires are right around the corner. They're right around the corner, just like Batman and Robin. They have to go through a lot of pow, bang, shazam, right? Until they get the bad guy. And underneath death, we have a 10 of Wands, which is my prison card, the end of being in prison and them going to prison. So what was I just talking about? And there's the card. Tens are the end. It's an ending for you and it's an ending for them. Now they could have chose to keep messing with Holy, and they could have not gave up and ate their own, and they would have got caught because I walked right in on them, right? And they could have got sent to wherever they got sent to, but that's not what happened. They were eating their own. Okay, and underneath the 10 of Wands is the Knight of Pattern. That's my girl on the motorcycle going forward towards her abundance. Pattern is Pentacles. So you're going forward towards your wishes and your desires. And the King of Pattern is what you're going for. So the Knight, two ways I'm reading this. One is that the Knight is going to turn into the King. Once she gets there, she turns into the King, who is a leader, who is stable, who has it all, right? Kind of like when Batman wins at the end, right? And then he puts on his suit like Bruce Lee, right? Here he's Batman and Robin. Here he's Bruce Lee. I think that's his name. I could be wrong. I get the names mixed up, but you know who I'm talking about. Okay, and then the other one I was getting was that the Knight is going towards and manifesting in their partner. So there were two energies coming off that. And then the 10 of Cups. The 10 of Cups is my Fantasyland card, where we have the devil back here tempting you. And then we have the codependency, where you're all wrapped up in listening to everybody else. So the 10 of Cups in this card is free yourself from the devil, free yourself from any toxic situations to make your manifestation a 10 of Cups. 10 of Cups is the end. So you want to put an end to the lust and the devil trying to get you, and you want to take the codependency. Now in here, this is the female's got the guy all wrapped up. Okay. And then we have get rid of the illusions. The Moon card. Stop drowning in your own shit is what I'm hearing. Stop drowning in your own shit. And I'm seeing this as the sun and this as the moon. And the sun is much bigger than the moon. So once again, when we had them turn on their own, eat their own is like turning on your own, spilling it all out, singing like a canary. Let it play out. That's why I said don't do send back to sender, because then you're lowering yourself to their level. And then last night, Astro would have said, well, you aren't much better than them, because you didn't just let us handle it. You got in there and were messing around and you lowered yourself to their level. And I warned you not to do that. So if any of you were there and you didn't listen and you were still being revengeful, fearful, angry, sending back to sender, not letting the universe do their job, then you were in the background getting reprimanded too. And there's a little bit of 10 of Swords there, which is another 10. So we've had 3 10s. 10 of Wands, 10 of Cups, 10 of Swords. So there was a lot of sorrow. A lot of sorrow. This is the card where the guy is getting syringes on his back. That's the card I got when I found out that my partner was dead from COVID. That's the card I got. Couldn't have fit better, huh? Syringes in the back. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and get some advice here. Remember I mentioned the Magician? That's the energy. That's the kind of energy you have to stay in, is the Magician energy. challenges all the time, the Five of Swords. She's got her baseball bat and she's ready. So, just like I said yesterday, I told you to back off and let the universe handle it. Look what happened last night in Astro. We took out the main two and they're eating their own. Keep manifesting, because you are going to be going through more challenges. It doesn't end till it ends. And then even when it ends, you go to another whole assignment. So it's like the challenges never end, but the type of challenges end. So right now you might be having a challenge with the evil ones trying to prevent you from your soul's mission, from your mission partner. But keep manifesting, because later the challenges will become something else. Judgment time is here. That's the card for Astro last night. Absolutely. And then they're also saying, you know, it's kind of like you also have to look as holy, the pure white dove, being bait. So by putting the bird, the holy bird, in the room by himself with the door open, gave the two big brown mice the temptation to do good or bad. They could have just said, "Hi, birdie," or they could have tried to hurt the birdie. They tried to hurt the birdie, so therefore, see, that was their choice. That's like what I'm saying. We, earth angels, are bait. And I don't know if you all know that you're bait, but you are. And then once you are in your assignment, you're bait for the enemy. The enemy has a choice whether to do good or bad, and so do we, of course, but I'm just saying this story here. Then the enemy can say, "Hi, Earth Angel, you need any help?" Or they can do their slimy deeds and be caught at it, because everything is being monitored. I'm drawn to the sun again. Everything's being done. It's judgment. Stay in your Empress power. We've had this almost every single day. After judgment is the Empress. Stay in your Empress power, male or female, because the wheels are turning, the Wheel of Fortune. The wheels are turning, and they're turning in our favor because it's the end of the movie. Any movie you watch, what happens at the end of the movie, right? Get a new perspective. Don't be living in the beginning and the middle of these movies. Live at the end of the movie. A new perspective, the Hanged Man. Okay, now we're just going to pull a few cards from where we had the Six of Swords randomly at the bottom, meaning that we're journeying on. Okay? Reverse your lower vibrations of fear and anger and turn them into light. The affirmation for today. Okay, so some final words are: stay in your King of Swords energy, because your King of Swords and your King of Pentacles is the main trait in your mission partner, male or female. They're truthful and they are abundant. Nine of Cups again. Okay, so wishes and desires are being fulfilled. Nine of Cups again. And Two of Wands, but you have to stay courageous and you have to stay daring. Nine of Pentacles. That's the abundance card. So 2 nines. Nine of Pentacles, Nine of Cups with the King of Swords is your advice on the outcome. Stay in truth. Stay in love, stay in abundance, and keep letting the universe be the judge, okay? Remember, we had judgment, Empress, Wheel of Fortune, Hanged Man, right? All major cards here, every single one of them. So I am Miss Mystic. Stay in your magician energy, let the universe do their job, and praise. Praise is the title because they wanted you to hear that story about what happened. And if you're one of them that wasn't in the back messing with the evil ones, you were one of them that just went on your own business and said, you know what? I'm not going to return to sender. I'm just going to keep on doing what I'm doing. I'm going to have trust. Now it's time to praise. I am Miss Mystic. Thank you for listening.